fuck, man? It's been a while. I'm gonna stretch my wings a little bit before we get started, dude.
Time to fly.
How to do this? Yeah. See if I remember how to wrench these things out here and
Yeah.
flap away.
Get out. Let's go, Birdman. Let's fly in any weather.
Woo! A little bit long. All right, let's kick this bitch off. I forgot where it's. Howdy! Welcome to this week's episodes of Vikings, Outlaws, and Cowboys. I'm your host, Viko, the bearded one. You can call me JT for short. As always, I am joined by his bouginess, Al, the Jarl Martinez. Howdy.
Howdy. It's been a while. It's
man.
It's like a first date.
Does it feel like you should be where I'm at as a driver's seat and I should be over there? Should we just...
I don't know. I like my office where it is.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, you should be
like a
the
role
host.
reversal?
Yeah, you're the host and I'm the co-host.
I don't know. I
I
don't know.
mean,
We've done this thing for a long time, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if my numbers show. Right now, I don't think my numbers are showing. So I don't know.
I was told that the boat did a really good job impersonating me. Apparently, he sounds like me on the radio. Nobody actually really knew that it was him until he announced it.
He did a fantastic job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only time will tell with those.
I will be honest. I was buried so deep in being a hooch motherfucking maker or a mead motherfucking master.
The mead motherfucking master. Yeah.
And moving shit around and getting everything ready for the grand opening that I literally don't even know what I listened to on the daily. I was so busy. I'm pretty sure there was music on at some point.
It damn sure wasn't the podcast.
It wasn't anything that was like anything that I wanted to pay attention to. It's for damn sure. It wasn't any podcast either. I was just, elbows deep in it. And sometimes I was shoulders deep in it. And sometimes I was picking up heavy shit. I don't know.
It was very Bernie.
Definitely. Yeah. We have got on the flip side, we got 4,000 liters. Because everything is, measured in liters. 4,000 liters of hooch nearly fermented. That's
quite
crazy.
nearly. Yeah.
Quite. Yeah, we re-racked 2,000 liters or 500 gallons today. That was cool.
Dang.
And just waiting on the other two to get to the point where they're at, and everything's coming along nice, man. I guess MEADERY updates. We were a little bit busy. Just a little bit. Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Got a parking lot that will fit about 40 cars. Ripped out of Willow.
Because it's not Prius parking, it's pickup truck parking. So like 40 pickups or SUVs.
Well, probably like
90 Hondas.
27 of those, and then there's like room for extra mini compacts. We put them down in the swamp.
The green parking.
Yeah,
only?
in the swamp. There's a plug-in at the bottom.
That makes sense. Just keep driving until you hit it. You can't miss it.
Yeah, just like the tractor guy today. Fucking guy. Anyway, so we did that. On Saturday morning, I had to burn a giant willow and 2 apple trees we pulled out. And I sat down there and did that from 8 o'clock in the morning until 11 p.m. So that was neat.
It's a lot of firewood.
The willow did not burn all the way by the way. It was underwhelming.
Oh, that's a bummer.
We even put 60 gallons of diesel on it. Way harder than you think.
If it wasn't dead, it is now.
Yeah, I mean, there's that too.
Did you shoot into it to light the fire?
No.
Or did one brave soul throw something?
So there's that
Braveheart it?
I fucking wish, man. No, I got there and there was a dude who was from the fire department and he's also in the wildland crew. So I was like, hey, so how are we doing this? We got Roman candles. What are we doing? He's like, Roman candles? No. What do you want to try to do? Start a forest fire? What the fuck are you talking about? No, I just want to try that giant ball of shit in the middle of the property. I want to light it on fire. He's like, yeah. So I don't know, he had this cool contraption, man. He walked up, he mixed it with diesel and fuel or diesel and gas, and
Oh yeah, the
Walk,
little torch things.
walked up and started fucking shaking it like he was, one of those,
He was the
you know,
Pope.
like the Catholic monk fucking walking by people, but it was just spitting fire. So I don't know. Maybe it
Fucking
was the
awesome.
yeah. And then it burned for a little bit. Got to send Ragnar and Bjorn off. They're in
Nice.
Valhalla. Um, and yeah, dude. I mean, sat there and had some of the best bratwurst I've ever had. They were Philly steak or Philly cheesesteak bratwursts, made from whitetail.
That's interesting.
Yeah, like so I now have to kill whitetail deer more than mule deer because that was fucking amazing. It was fucking amazing. So yeah, there's that. I guess, man, like the real thing is we should talk about like when we're potentially gonna do some launch stuff. Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe. Who knows?
Uh, yeah. Well,
Who knows?
we got through the formula submission in like 3 days for the federal government. That's pretty quick, man. They approved our formulas in like 3 days.
Yeah, they got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah. Um. So now we're just waiting on them to approve our labels. So hopefully that's really quick, relatively quick. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, man. Then once that's done, I'm hopeful that we'll do some pre-orders Friday.
So what you're saying is you've been busy.
Oh yeah, maybe.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's weird. It's nice to be back on the cast. Missed you.
I think probably people missed you.
I mean, probably not. You guys did a great job.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Time will tell. But it was fun. We did have fun. We talked about a hat trick, because we had 3. If it was going to be 4, it would ended up being a Mexican hat dance. That's just how it goes.
That's fair. I couldn't let that happen, man. I can't have that much Mariucci and shit that he's designed in the past that looks Mexican. I mean, I love y'all, but I just couldn't have it all at once,
The logos were so good. The Instagram logos were so good.
I was loving it. Started listening to to last week's cast, and I was like, very first thing, look on the agenda, gender roles. I was like, holy shit, man, let these fucking guys go.
Fucking go.
I'm like, next thing we're gonna talk about is like red and blue stuff and taking pills and whatnot. What pill did you swallow today? I was
exactly.
Like, gotta jump back in here, fucking wrangle the cats.
I think my brother was trying to get me in trouble.
Sorry, I'm trying to get this thing to drink down because I really been on the, they don't sponsor us, but I've really been on the Black Buffalo Blood Orange kick, man. Sean Ryan got me hooked on it.
Don't you have like a empty bottle of whiskey back there?
I'm not gonna fucking. No, I like that one. This is like a nice one.
Well, you could buy another one.
It requires money.
Just don't mix up your spitter and your drinker.
What are you drinking tonight? Since you're giving me shit.
Water. Yeah, I just got
water.
I just got water.
I got 3 of the big goldies to happen.
I might change my mind later. I don't know.
You should totally change your mind.
When we go to break, maybe I'll change my mind.
Okay, that's fine. We got a really cool update cast today, I think. I threw it together, but it's some stuff that I've been thinking about for the past 3 weeks.
Well, you got to give us a rundown of the cast.
So today we're going to talk about thick skin and how important it is to have it and when to have it.
Like the boat's thick skin? Like
No, not foreskin.
Like thicky snicky?
No. Like a kangaroo leather skin.
Like intestinal fortitude?
Yeah, that'd be cool. And then the other thing is stating your truth and holding to it. And I think we can really dive into that because I have witnessed a lot of shit recently, and I was like, why the fuck is this a thing? We'll jump into the paranormal portion. We're gonna get back to some apparitions. I think that's gonna be good. Some spooky shit. We haven't talked about spooky shit for a while.
That first cast that we did, Fred, he kept having a thing that popped up like on his side, like
I saw
a space. It was weird.
No, I saw it. I was like,
he was getting freaked out.
You guys give me shit about the little girl that lives here.
He was like, "Fuck this."
Yeah, so dude, basically we got some good shit happening. Then we'll do a wrap up and some shout outs. I think that tonight is going to be a great freeform cast overall. We're probably going to go down rabbit holes, maybe some badger holes, some little feisty peoples.
As long as there's holes, we're gonna go down them.
We're in all the holes tonight for days.
Let's go.
Let's fucking go. So, do you have any updates before we jump into it?
No. I think all the updates pretty much been on the Montana side of the house. We've just kind of been cranking podcasts out and giving inspirational attaboys to all the boys up there that are tearing it up. So, no, just the huge, the team
Nice.
up there building shit, making our dreams come true.
Got to do a shout out to my daughter Brittany real quick. Not that she'll ever listen to this, but hey, come on over. She was a part of the original brew crew. I don't know if you guys re-shouted her out, but she kicked ass.
Yeah, that's killer.
So she's up here and she chopped up 75 pounds of jalapenos.
Sounds absolutely terrible.
It was definitely an operational learning experience.
Yeah, we need a food processor. That's what that sounds like.
I have one. Her name's Brittany.
Yeah.
Anyway,
hopefully she's not an hourly employee. Or she's a processor.
She's hourly for sure. So let's jump into it, man. Men's mental health. Been listening to a lot of things, and I've been like looking and watching, and observing a lot lately. And I've had some interactions of my own with different people, and I started realizing somewhere besides like men getting soft, men started wearing their sleeve or their heart on their sleeve so much that like they don't talk to you if you say something wrong to them, instead of them coming at you and like addressing shit sort of head on, and that it's a new thing to me, and I started really realizing it. Whatever. About 3 weeks ago.
Realizing?
Yeah, when I was talking to somebody on the Meadery property, and I was like, "Hey, I don't give a shit what you do it right, do it the first time, and get it done. I don't want to hear about it again." Right? And he like hung his head and walked away all sullen, and I was like, what did I say? What did I just say? I'm giving you direction. Here you go. I don't got time to deal with all of your things. Just do it right. Do it the first time. Just get it done. I don't have time, right? And I started looking around. As soon as that happens, obviously you're like, what the fuck? And next thing you know, you're scrolling on Instagram when you're trying to fall asleep, or TikTok or whatever, and it's just like every soft, emotional fucking bitch boy I've ever seen in my entire life talking about how, their friend hurt their feelings, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, get the fuck out of here with this shit.
So they don't just go at each other's throats like we do?
No, man. I just
go at each other on like, let's go, motherfucker.
Yeah, like the thing is, I somewhere along the line, like, I don't know what it is, but somewhere along the line, men stopped having thick skin. And it's really important to have thick skin, right? To take something on the chin that maybe you perceived as off, but at the same time, like, okay, well, maybe that person has a lot on his plate, or maybe he's being direct because that's the best way he communicates. Which, by the way, anybody who wants to talk in circles right now to me, I need bullet points. I need a bullet point to brush my teeth. I need a bullet point for you to tell me that there's just too much going on in my life. I'm working 2 full-time jobs,
Yeah.
So it was very interesting, and I wanted to get your take on it. So, like, thick skin. First off, is it important to have thick skin? Number one. Number two, what are some scenarios when you want to have thick skin, and what are some scenarios where you think it's maybe okay to let your guard down and not have that thick skin? Open yourself up. Not that you ever do, but maybe you do. I don't know what happens when between you and Justine. She probably rips that shit off like it's a Band-Aid.
No, we just sit in the room and I just, hit her with pickup lines. That's just how we communicate now.
That's fair.
It's fun.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that.
So what we do really is, I think having the thick skin is definitely that part of that old school mentality. Some of us have it, some of us don't. Just kind of depends on how you were brought up. I think that it probably has a lot to do with people having thin skin, or people being, as we would call them, bitches.
Yeah, I believe the Webster dictionary term is bitches.
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 I think that it probably has a lot to do with smaller amounts of human interaction during, when they're growing up and stuff, not being bullied. That whole thing that we've talked about a gajillion times.
Yeah,
because
totally.
They're just online. They're playing video games. They're not out getting into scuffles, riding their bikes or playing sports or doing that stuff. So I would say that it probably has a whole lot to do with how you were brought up and how you grew up. And I probably more so with that affecting it than anything else that I could think of, as far as, the common denominator of what makes you a bitch and what doesn't. And then there's just some people that naturally do not have a backbone and they're not going to stand for anything, but they'll fall for everything, right?
Yeah.
There's definitely, so I've been kind of diving back into kind of like that warrior culture, specifically like our generation of, military service and stuff like that, getting into like some of the stuff that, SEALs of our generation kind of went through, and Marines of our generation kind of went through, and just the intestinal fortitude that they had, the thick skin that they had to just fucking see one of their buddies get blown up, the day before, and then they're back out there the next day patrolling the same area, while, blood still soaks the earth, where, they lost somebody in their platoon, or they don't know whether their buddy's even alive or dead because, they got him the fuck out of there after the medevac. Like that type of stuff, like that is thick skin, dude. I'm sorry, but just see some shit like that and keep going on, and, trying to not dive too deep into it, but there's dudes out there, lots of dudes that are our age that did that shit. And some that are still continuing to do it, but then there's some that are just not meant for that world. And if they're smart, they realize it and get the fuck out of it. Get out of that world, right? But there's a whole dynamic there that is just, it's really interesting, especially when you come back and you have a situation like you just presented, right? And I don't know specifically who you're talking about, or whether they're old or new, or old or young, or whatever the fuck it is, but it sounds like somebody that may not have had those been in those thick-skinned environments, or those strong environments that kind of build that mental toughness.
I agree with you on it, because like there's definitely a portion, and and as the bearded Viking has grown, the corporate culture that we have is very straightforward. And so like me and you will go at it and we don't fucking care, because that's just is what it is. But like we can't do that with other people, and it's really weird, because I'm like I don't know like what's going on.
Get in trouble.
I'm like, I don't know what's happening. But the same thing outside of it, right? I look at people and I'm like, if getting yelled at today is going to make you feel that way, maybe you need to get yelled at more.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And it's just kind of like what we've talked about too, with the kids, bringing the kids back into it. On, you and I have talked about it before, and me and the boat talked about it in the last three. Just these kids being totally cut from a different cloth. And it's funny, Christy, she reaches out and she's like, those boys are not dumb. They're just different. They haven't had the experience that you had at that age. And it's so true. And her just reaching out and saying that is pretty funny, because that's exactly what it is. It's what we were saying the whole time, is these kids are not having the experiences that we had when we were that age.
No.
And those experiences help build the mental toughness.
Yeah, dude, like freaking, watch your friend break his collarbone in your driveway going up a fucking jump,
shit.
right? You're
Yeah.
like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
I remember. And then you get your ass beat, yelled at by your parents, and then you, all right, cool, well that's over. So now I'm gonna go do the next thing, and then you break something, and you're like, ah shit, and your parents are just like shaking their head the whole time while they're just getting ready to whoop that ass, and
oh yeah. And like the ramp that you stole all the lumber from like the houses around the corner being built, always paid the price, right? It always got fucking destroyed and burned in the backyard or freaking ripped apart. And you're like, fuck, it took us 2 weeks to get all the lumber to make that jump right.
I had to fucking steal it when I was sleeping over.
Yeah.
Right? Come on, get out of here with that. No, it's definitely a weird thing because like sometimes I think that I have pretty thick skin. Like it takes a long time for me to get to a point where I'm like, I'm fucking done. Right? Like it takes a long time. And I'm like, for me, I'm like, how the fuck do people live this way? Like I could never live my life in a way if somebody yelled at me or gave me like, angry eyes, and I had to fucking sulk back into my cave or whatever the fuck these kids do or people do these days. There's no way. I have no understanding or way to cope with that brain.
Do you know how much just emotional energy it would take to be that sensitive all the fucking time? Because it's got like some of it has to be a show, right? Some of it has to be just fire for effect, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. It's gotta be like I want to see what I can get.
Be real.
I don't know, man. Some of these people are just.
It's
do you think they go home and they fucking just listen to like Blue October and fucking make slits in their arm?
Probably. Yeah, I think a lot of them do. Or
I got bullet point yelled at today.
Oh darn! Somebody yelled at me because we're not accepting cash, which pisses me off. By the way, I fucking had a goddamn meltdown at the fucking Tom Segura stand-up show. Mm-hmm. Like was it like 2 weeks ago? Autorama, yeah, 2 weekends ago. I was fucking mad, dude, because I always like, especially when it's like beer money, I always take cash to pay for beer. That way I don't have like 50 fucking charges on my card for beer. The whole fucking Delta Center doesn't do cash anymore. I fucking lost it, dude. I was so fucking mad. I was like, it's $11 beer day already because we're here. And now I can't even pay cash. I got to keep swiping this fucking card. It made me want to drink less. Like they could have had 40s of dollars more if they took cash.
Yeah, no. Nope. So there's difference, by the way, between having a fucking common sense meltdown and just being sad because somebody fucking told you to do your fucking job.
I went full fucking rage. I was like, it's legal fucking tender. What the fuck? Like, you have to accept it. And the bartender's just like, I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. So, yeah, I came unglued. Maybe you could say that I had thin skin or I was pissed off because common sense is not common. Like, why the fuck are we not taking cash?
I have stated that so many times in the past 2 weeks. Common sense is not a common virtue.
No,
it's now like a theme song in my head. We need to have
to make a song. A jingle,
fucking something, man. I really just want the world to pull its head out of its fucking giant asshole. But yeah, dude, it's super weird because I think there's definitely a time when you should not have thick skin, and I think you should be vulnerable. Right? There's definitely times for that, but it's not every fucking day. Because you nailed it.
It's not like Tuesday at the lumberyard.
You fucking nailed it, bro. Like, can you imagine being that way all the time?
It's got to be exhausting.
I have no idea how women do it. Like, I do
not
have
exhausting.
Like, I have no idea how they can feel all the things that they feel. And they're just regular. Yeah. They're not.
Yeah, I mean, some are definitely more emotional than others.
Yeah, and there's definitely a time every month when that is heightened.
Yeah, usually I'm golfing or out of town or something.
I want to try to be that like that. I'm just at
Yeah.
the meadery all the time, so it doesn't.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have a place to go. I work from home. I don't get to leave this place.
It is called the clubhouse, by the way, just so we're all aware.
The clubhouse. And do you have a He-Man Woman Haters sign up?
Not yet, but
The
soon,
He-Man
bro.
Woman Haters Club.
Monday through Wednesday, it's that no women allowed.
Dudes.
Thursday through Saturday when we're open, whatever. But no, yeah,
No,
it's good.
It's incredible the way things are now, and I think that more and more people are starting to pull their heads out. But it's going to take a lot of time to kind of get that reset, or something terrible is going to have to happen. And they're going to realize that the world is not just this hunky-dory place. It's all Instagram and online and the YouTubes and everybody's fake, fantastic life that they portray. It's like, dude, if I had a fucking social media manager that was following me around, taking pictures and posts all the time, people would think that just to have the funnest life ever. If they were just picking the cool stuff to post. And, you know, they would miss all the fucking depth, all the things that actually go on, right?
Yeah.
All the trials, tribulation, all the strife. And, you know, it would just look like this fantastic sunset on a beach somewhere. But it's really not like that, you know?
Dude, I think people then when they look at my Instagram and stuff, because I try to just post uplifting stuff. Like you don't ever see me. You never see the fucking pissed off version of me or the stressed out, right?
And if we do, it'll be on like TMZ one day. And or be like smashing a camera into something.
Possibly.
Just hulking out, just roid raging.
I have been known to throw a hammer or two. At wood, people. At wood. I'm really glad that nobody was wood.
Nobody was wood that day.
Yeah. No, dude, I just don't get it, man. I also believe too, like everybody, you know, people probably think that I have like the most glorious life because I've got falcons, I'm a beekeeper and own a hooch company. It's not.
Well, and that's the thing, is like everybody, at least I think the majority of younger people, right, take these made up social media lives for what they are. They think that they're, or at face value, they don't really think about it any deeper. Like, what does this person's life look like off of Instagram or off of TikTok? Or, you know, what happens day to day? And
how many days did you spend on your knees ripping up fucking flooring and putting it back down just to cross that first like goal, right? Like,
yeah. Well, and it's like, and so much money comes easy now too, especially for the female side of the house, especially, you know, with these freaking OnlyFans sites and shit like that, where people are just going and paying to see girls. And it's like you have overnight millionaires basically in some cases, because dudes are just pervs, right? And go and pay for that shit. And it's like, some of these people don't ever have to work another day in their life, and they didn't ever have to do anything but take their clothes off.
It's weird to me, man. Like I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no understanding. You look at it and you're like, okay, so there's a breakdown in societal workforce
and morals, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So if shit goes sideways, what is the person that's making $1 million a year showing their butthole gonna do for society? Like, you're gonna be the first to die, dude. Like, or open a brothel? I don't know if they're business oriented. I mean, really, I'm at a loss, dude. What the fuck happens to those people?
Yeah, that's an interesting dynamic on that too. Like, do you think that those people have thick enough skin? Because I think that there's a mix, right? But overall, I think that they don't. But do you think that they have thick enough skin to like rebound from that? Because looks fade, tits sag.
Yeah.
Dicks don't get hard after a while.
By then they've already made their freaking nut.
You think?
You know, if you look at some of the stats on that stuff, there's some people that are pulling in like $500,000 a month just doing sex work on the subscription based shit.
Should have gone that
That
route.
is, yeah. It should have been a chick, I guess. I don't think dudes fare as well.
Feet finder.
Feet finder. Yeah. Only dads.
Oh, yeah, me there's that too.
No, but I would imagine that they have thick skin for sure. And I'm not going to say that every single one of them is absolutely talentless and has no marketable skills.
No,
because it just, statistically that's an impossibility, right? I've seen some that have posted on Instagram that are like doctors and lawyers and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, no, they made more money on paid websites than being a doctor or a lawyer, and they don't have to have malpractice insurance.
And it's not taxable income.
No, I thought they did. Really?
It's an estimation. It's like getting tips.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know that.
How to me,
it's absolutely insane.
To me, I'm like, we got to pay tax on the property, got to pay tax on the bottles, got to pay tax on the hooch, got to pay tax on hooch sales. It's like, fuck you guys.
The government gets theirs like 10 times over. And now that I understand that I could just show my butthole on camera and not get taxed.
No, it would be taxed. Yeah. That ass would be taxed.
That ass would be taxed.
That ass would be taxed.
That ass is taxed.
Bro, I think it's an interesting dynamic, right? So like you look at these people and they've got to have thick skin because of like, show me your bobs and vagine shit, like people just being rude. And then also at the same time, if these people took just an ounce of the amount of time it took to market to get found, right?
Yeah.
And they applied it to society, just society in general. Anywhere. I mean, wow.
I think the majority of them had no idea what to do. And
do you think this is caused because of the Rona?
I think that the Rona definitely had a big cause. It definitely had a big impact on people doing it. But the quick, easy money that they're making doesn't help. That's a freaking driving force right there. And there's this doctor, I forget what his name is. He's like a mental health professional, and he talks to these girls and these guys that have been on these paid websites, and he's asking them just kind of in-depth questions like, what are your relationships like? What is your home life like? Or what was it like? What, this, that, and the other. And a lot of it is like broken homes or, over the top rich and mommy and daddy didn't pay attention to me type stuff. And, I'm rebelling and they don't have relationships with their family anymore because their family's like, what are you doing? Why are you being stupid? And they don't have a lot of friends that are outside of that business.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're really, there's going to be a mental health crisis just for that segment of people, because eventually that people are going to stop paying money to see them and numbers are going to go down. And then the depression kicks in because these people don't want to see me anymore. And then all of a sudden we're having a downturn and we're depressed and we're having all kinds of mental health issues. It's going to happen. Mark my words.
Do you think that when that happens, that we'll see the cream rise to the top, so to speak, in society? Because it's coming. It's coming fucking quick, especially with all this bullshit that happened in that red. Like,
I don't know. I think it's going to take a while because you're talking, the majority of these people are in their, early 20s, early 30s. So it's going to take a while for that shit to start happening. But I think that if something happened, and things got really, really, really tight, people are going to stop paying for shit like that.
That's the first thing to go, because once you got it, you can just download it and rewatch it, right? Like that's the whole point of those things.
Yeah, I don't know, but I know
if you think about it, right? When we were overseas, every single Marine, AO or Army AO had somebody that had 10 terabytes of porn they would just share.
Oh yeah, and it was like take one, leave one when somebody would download a movie.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, what movie did you put on there? And it'd always be some porn. You're like, fucker, I needed a new movie.
Yeah, like it's an interesting concept, because like eventually, like after you've shown everything,
what else do you got?
Yeah, like you got to keep pushing the envelope. And that's a whole morality thing for whoever's listening, and your own morals or whatever. I'm not going to judge you on that shit. Like, do what you do, but there's definitely a line where you have to.
But like and comment, let us know.
Yeah, I want to know about your kink. I don't want to know. I'm not going to yuck your yum. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not going to pay for your website, but
no.
How's it going out there? Yeah. Is there a mental health crisis in your industry?
Interesting. I don't think anybody who actually has that stuff would ever listen to us, because we're just not that dynamic. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, we're more Dirk Diggler than sex worker.
Yeah.
I don't even know what is it called? Sex entertainment, sex worker.
Yeah,
the whole thing is
we have gone back to the times of the Romans, I guess. This is the first time I've thought about the Romans in like months, dude.
We're just getting worse and worse and worse, right? At least it took them 1,000 years to get here. We're like a little over 200.
We're accelerating. We're in an accelerated thing. The woke mob and everything else. And I think that's actually a thing. I'm not allowed to say, but I don't give a shit.
As long as it's not in the title, we'll be fine.
It's fine, yeah. So I think that I'd like to get back into the thick skin. I think the woke mob has really driven a lot of that whole process. Like, there's literally people who are gays for Palestine, and like, listen, whether you support Palestine or not, that's not my fucking place. If you do, you're a fucking idiot, but whatever. But like, if you were in Palestine and you're a gay person, you would die.
Yeah, that's like wiping before you poop, dude. It doesn't make any sense.
No.
Gays for Palestine. And like these dumbasses that were just chanting death to America while they're here in America, assembled here. Did you see that?
Yeah. There was a huge thing today. It was everywhere. It was San Francisco, Boston.
They're shutting bridges and shit down.
Yeah, Florida. Florida drugged them.
Should have just thrown them the fuck off the bridges. Just taking care of them right there.
Yeah, hey, you can swim to Palestine. I hear.
Yeah, there you go. I hear the tide is going towards Palestine right now.
Allegedly.
Yeah. If you stick your chest to the air, you'll just float there.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be able to breathe the whole time.
For sure. I think that's the problem, though, is you have like the old states, right? So that's Russia, China, all these countries. Well, they've already had their woke mob bullshit. Now we have the Western Revolution, where the westernized countries of the world are going through their trials and tribulations. But back then, when the wokeness came around, they just snuffed it out with genocide. You can't do that now. But
yeah,
not that I would.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, Germany, obviously. Russia, I don't really know. It sounds like they've always been pretty damn loyal. But I'm sure there's something in their history that we're missing, because we're not taught Russian national history or the history of Russia or anything like that here in the States for the most part. We know about Rasputin and the fucking what do they call their king? The Tsar.
The Zarya.
You know, we know a few things about that, but and how it's intertwined with Germany. But even like when Putin went off on his rant on Tucker Carlson, he was giving the West a fucking history lesson and telling everybody this shit belongs to us. These people have no business being here or being part of anywhere else, because that's kind of the natural capital of Russia for, hundreds, if not thousands of years. So,
yeah.
But yeah, that history is not taught here.
So the woke mob thing, I think that's what actually has weakened the skin of people, though. Because if I don't agree with you, you're just going to yell over me. And if I say something, you're going to cry and scream and throw a temper tantrum.
That's fucking weird.
Dude, I'm like, what? You should have got the belt when you were a kid.
That
whatcha?
That adult did not get hit enough.
No.
Dude, some of the funniest videos on social media, or this one, the dude's riding his bike down a bike trail in like the forest, and this person just like he slows down because this person is just like losing their shit, crying about how he's ruining their time on the trail walking. And this dude just punched this person right in the fucking face.
I love that one, dude.
And he goes falling off into the bushes, walks back, gets on his bike, and just fucking rides off. I'm like, holy shit. Maybe we need a little bit more of that.
We totally
Not, calling for violence or anything, but sometimes a motherfucker just needs to get hit in the mouth.
Sometimes a motherfucker needs to get motherfucked.
Yeah, sometimes you can't motherfuck on a keyboard. Sometimes you got to get hit.
Yeah. I think it's a very interesting thing, because there's definitely that time to have thick skin, which is like pretty much whenever you breathe, except for the times when you need to be vulnerable. And so, like, the times when you need to be vulnerable and take your guard down is when you are actually having a fucking real problem for yourself, or one of your close loved ones is having a problem and you need to open the door. Right? That is really important, because you got to be able to take the thick skin off and be able to, because that's the only way you can relate with like your wife when she's like on the verge. Otherwise, you're not going to relate and understand. For the most part, some people can, but I think all of us like take that superhero cape of I motherfucked my buddy today and had a great time, and he motherfucked me back worse.
I murked that fool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, I would say that, there's definitely times where you got to be kind of armored up, you got to be kitted up and go out and face life, not like a bitch. But, coming home or having those conversations with your significant other or a buddy or something like that, that's a little bit different. Or, somebody's opening up to you about, a problem that they're having, or, something like that. Usually, it comes around a campfire at, 2 a.m. after, sharing a 30 pack or something like that. For dudes, at least the dudes that we know, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it is definitely important to be a little bit softer and gentler with those people around you.
It's definitely an interesting thing, because you have to be able to, when you take that skin off, that thick skin, and let's say you're the cause of the situation. Not that we have ever been the cause, because we're angelic.
Not us. Ambivalent.
Yeah, something. What's the opposite of an ambivalent? That.
Malevolent.
So you have the time to really sit down and open up, and that, I think, is just as hard as having thick skin. And it's really important to know when to do that. It's really, really important, because you need to.
Well, and sometimes, the signs aren't there either. So I think that it's definitely important, at least for, the female side of the house, to remember, hey, we can't tell what you want us to do. Like, you have to tell us what you want, we can't read the signs on the wall a lot of the times. So, we're not psychic, but if you tell us what's going on, then it's a little bit easier for us to like listen and understand. And it's been made very clear to us that we're not supposed to fix the problem. We're just supposed to listen.
Yeah, there's that conversation with Vika and me that it's every time it's like, do you want me to solve the problem or do you want me just to listen? The very first thing, other than no talking about horses or fences or the meadery before coffee. That's really, really important. Otherwise, it's not great.
Yeah.
I actually need to like institute that rule for everybody at the Bearded Viking. If I haven't had coffee yet, don't fucking ask questions yet. Give me till 9:30.
I don't think that's gonna work out as a business motto for some reason.
For right now. Like, we can roll it back. I'll start drinking coffee earlier and earlier, but usually I need a pot and a half to deal with y'all. No, I think it's really important though. We talked about it. We talk about it all the time, and I did it. I do it with my daughters. Because like I didn't get a chance to be a full-time dad. Unfortunately, that's just the way the cards are. We all know about that. And like dealing with that many hormones and emotions in a 5-foot ball, 5'2" ball, 5'6" ball of just like feminine rage and love, which could be
your house is just like an Alanis Morissette song. I feel like.
Yeah, maybe it's a little ironic. Don't you think?
Yeah, there's definitely 10,000 spoons.
And all I need is a knife.
Yeah,
that's fair. The plane does crash down, and I do think it is. Isn't this nice? I'd like to thank Canada for
that was fun. Yeah,
for Bryan Adams and also Alanis Morissette.
Yeah, I'm glad that we could have this moment.
You guys can keep all the others.
Yeah, you can definitely keep the Beebs.
Yeah, we'll take Ryan Reynolds though.
Yeah, we'll trade Ryan Reynolds. Yeah,
we'll do a fair trade across the board. We'll take Ryan Reynolds. You guys take Mike Obama and call it good.
Yeah, Big Mike.
Big Mike.
Big Mike.
I mean, it's really important. Let's just wrap that up. But it's really important to know when to have a thick skin, right? From my perspective as a leader, having a thick skin is the constant feedback that you don't really care to hear, but you're going to get it no matter what. And it might fuck on your mental state or your emotional state. It might do a lot to you. And as a follower, same thing, that feedback from above down below can really, it can be detrimental if you read too much into it because you don't know what the other person is going through on any given moment. So, with that kid, good.
You don't know if they're on their Menzie or not.
That's true too. Could be that. I mean, it happens to all of us. Yeah. With that kid, I walked up to him and I just said, "Hey, man, you good?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'll be okay." I'm like, "Did I say something that hurt your feelings, or was it? Do you want me to soften it up and be like, could you please?" And he's like, "I just never have anybody tell me that things that way." I'm like, "Look, I need you to do what you're good at, so I can do my job."
Which so I can do what I'm good at.
Yeah. I just need you to calm the fuck down. Stop asking me questions. If there's a major problem, then come find me. But if not, you got a brain. I want you to be proactive and solve your shit.
Right. Makes perfect sense.
I think that we should probably go to break real quick so you can go get a beer. Times 5.
You're going to make me drink this time?
I am. I haven't had a drink with you in a minute, bro. So I know you're recovering from Autorama, but I don't give a shit because I wasn't there.
That was a week ago.
Yeah, you're fine to drink now. Your liver's cleared. Cleared for duty. Let's go.
That was 2 weeks ago? A week ago? It's one of those weeks. All right. I will go track down some alcoholic beverages.
right, cool. And we'll be right back for the next portion of men's mental health. Yeah.
I'm better than this exercise.
This is fun. Yeah. So stating your truth and holding to it. So this is a deep one, I think, because everybody has their truth that's inside that they give people little pieces and tidbits of at certain times in life. But what I've started to notice on my end in life is that I am unapologetically me. And I don't fucking care about it. Anything other than just being me. And I am quirky and I am kind-hearted and I'm also rude sometimes, but I'm also, you know, nice sometimes. And I'm just sometimes.
Sometimes.
Depends on if I've been lifting thousands of pounds of honey and dumping them in a bathtub to make hooch. Then I'm not nice. I'm very tired and not very nice. So I think the big thing about this is number one, how do you find your truth? I mean, when we're talking about your truth, it's the truth of who you are. Are you a whiny bitch? Are you too rugged? Are you, a hero? Are you just a dude who does dude things? Like, who are you? How do you find that? And once you find it, how do you hold to it? A pretty in-depth portion of the cast, I think. And I think this is something that we've talked about on different aspects of it, but not as a conglomerate or a whole.
Would you say that you never really know who you are?
I think that you know who you are, but most people, well, I think that people aren't willing to admit who they are for the good and the bad. They're only willing to admit the good. And I think that over time, once you know who you are, you can focus on evolving and growing into something different. I wouldn't say that you don't know who you are. I think that you overall deny the bad parts of who you are.
I would say, using us as a case study, I'd say that we probably have a pretty good idea of who we are at this point,
Mm-hmm.
and the things that we want to change, the things that we want to do better. But I would also dare say that the bad parts of us are what makes us us.
Yeah.
Definitely, they are defining characteristics of what makes us us. Now, I'm not saying that we don't have good characteristics too, but I do think that, the bad parts of us, at least to those that are closest to us, it definitely defines us. I know it definitely defines me.
Oh yeah.
And
I wouldn't say it defines you. I think it adds definition. It's like the details like in a picture. Like the picture has a bunch of trees
it's not as
and it's the
abstract.
details. Yeah, the details are the leaves, right? So
Uh,
like your pros and cons for you are probably the defined details. The overall makeup of the good and the bad is the picture when you're standing back and looking at it.
yeah, I would say that, you know,
I just
there's
want to let you know
definitely,
I Bob Ross that right there.
yeah, yeah, there's like a happy little body buried under a happy little tree.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that there's definitely parts that, and we've talked about this before, especially with relationships and stuff like that, letting the bad things go. That way you can move forward and move on. But, there's always those parts of you that you're not willing to let go,
Mm-hmm.
and that are kind of low key in the background that are always there. Those little compartmentalizations of who you used to be or who you kind of still are a little bit,
Yeah.
that you keep back there, that guy that you keep back there for that special occasion that you really need to fucking blow up on somebody, or you need to unlock that that cheat code to really fuck some shit up, or persevere in a moment,
Yeah.
because sometimes I think that's our fallback. That's kind of that fallback area. So we know that guy. We
Yeah.
moved on to be, bigger and better, but we were this guy for a really long time. So that's kind of the fallback position. So you can, regroup, get some water, and go back at it. You know what I mean? So I think.
Do you think that people state their truth? Because like that's a really important thing. You know, I have a line in the sand that if I cross, it takes weeks to come back from, for me personally, because that's a big giant green monster who makes the Hulk look not big, you know. So do you think that people actually understand that when you state the truth, it's accepting the bad? Do you think anybody does?
I don't. So that whole like stating my truth and thing, that is a really abstract thought to me. I don't that's it's too big of a broad sweeping like I know my truth. Well, what the fuck does that even mean? You know
Well,
what
you
I
can,
mean? Like if you
yeah.
want to, I think maybe at least for me to have a good response or a good um I don't know, rebuttal or conversation even about it, is I have to know what that means to you. What
Oh
does
yeah.
stating my truth, when you say that, what does that mean to you?
So to me, um, it's acceptance of everything in my life that's brought me to this point, and understanding that there are circumstances. I don't have regret for most things. I probably only regret one or two things in my life, because regret holds on to the past, and I'm not trying to hold on to the past. I'm trying to move forward from and learn from my past, right? So for me, stating my truth is understanding that there are pieces of my life that I was absolutely terrible, and there are pieces of my life when I was absolutely wonderful, great.
Mm-hmm.
And what that culmination really has brought to, like created, what it sculpted, so to speak. Um, on one side, it's probably a hideous monster, and on the other side, it might be, something beautiful. I don't know. But I know that the combination, I don't know what it looks like to somebody else, but the combination is who I am. And knowing that, hey, listen, there are points in my life that I took advantage of somebody, full well knowing that I took advantage of somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't in a situation where they should have been taken advantage of. And there's also points in my life when I gave to somebody knowing full well they were taking advantage of me.
See, and that statement is not a representative statement of what you just explained to me. At least in my thoughts and understanding of that statement. You know what I mean? What
Hmm.
you just described to me seems much more broad and much more in depth than saying I know my truth.
No, no,
you,
okay.
you know what I
Very
mean?
fair, very fair.
Like
No, that's what
that's why I wanted you to clarify and go in depth more
oh
on what
yeah.
you meant, because I thought you meant something deeper than what that statement kind of alludes to. So,
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Stating your truth, and holding to it. Like somebody could be like, I identify as a Ferris wheel, and that's my truth. Well, that's fucking great. But like, how did you come to that conclusion?
right.
Did you
So,
did you were you at a Ferris like were you at a Ferris
was
wheel
it a
convention
Ferris
where
wheel
you had
convention and that
yeah
thing
as a
fucking
kid?
rocked
It
at
was
me and
woo and just like it like winked a little bit. Yeah, no,
yeah.
I get what you're saying. For me, the important thing is like I guess it's the culmination of all the podcasts, if you really want to think about it, right?
Oh yeah.
For me, right?
Yeah.
It's the path of, and I told you this, I was like, I need the therapy, I'm missing it, right?
You
Uh,
missed 3 weeks, 3 sessions of therapy.
fuck, man, there's a lot going on, but if you really break it down to where I'm coming from, like not the stating my truth and dying on that fucking hill or whatever, um, it's stating to yourself, having internal monologue about your own failures and your own victories, and then outwardly to the rest of the world, not necessarily having those conversations with people because people don't need to know all that, um, but having that this is who I am and I will not back down from who I am.
So more or less telling the truth to yourself, not
Yes.
not lying to yourself or pretending that you are something that you aren't,
Hmm.
basically. So and that makes way more sense. You know, the good, the bad, the ugly,
Hmm.
uh the retarded, you know,
Yeah.
it's all there, right?
I'm a sucker for jorts, bro. Like I'm in on them all year as much as I can anytime.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm in
Fuck
there
it,
too.
you
I'm with
know,
it.
dude. Especially the jorts we got, man. That shit's
Dude, I got
comfy.
an ass
Fuck,
that was made for jorts.
dude. But that's the retarded or the fuckery that we do. But yeah, man.
It's you definitely have to reach a point in your life, bringing up the jorts, which is it's kind of funny, where you just really don't give a fuck about what people think about you, and just knowing and being comfortable with the people that are around you, that they don't really give a shit either because they know who you are.
Hmm.
So just not when I say don't give a fuck, I mean like don't be shitty to people, but don't be afraid to make fun of yourself
Yeah.
or to go out and, wear fucking jorts and a fucking tank top, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a
Oh,
cowboy
yeah.
hat with boots. You're like,
Yeah.
who the fuck
Who
cares?
fucking cares? And the also at the same time too, like this is a segment that I think that I really started thinking about after me and you were fucking battling for a minute. Um, it really is uh saying, no, man, this is my fucking line. This is who I am. This is what I got going on. And we do it back and forth to each other all the fucking time. But it makes us better because we know boundaries and we know what buttons not to push. Don't press the nuclear button. That's leave it alone. Press all the other fucking buttons. It's fine. But like that one, don't do that one, right? And I think because we're both so just alpha all the time, like everywhere we go, that like we're in a room together, we can feed off of each other and prop each other up, or we can tear each other down so fucking quick. But one-on-one conversations is where we actually establish our boundaries with each other. But in doing so, we're really holding true to ourselves in that truthful moment of like, hey man, like my thick skin is fucking worn thin here. This is where I'm at. This is what's going on. Blah 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 blah. This is where I was in the past. Where I look at myself and I would never come into a conflict. I still hate conflict. Fucking it's annoying as shit. It's not like I seek it out, but I now I now can say I have men around me and a partner that will understand because I am unapologetically me.
Mhm. Well, and I think just kind of like what we talked about a little bit earlier is, sometimes the bad parts of us shine through, and and getting to that stage where you just don't give a fuck um, about, you know, maybe not embarrassing yourself, but just just being who you are. And sometimes, you know, I think sometimes when we're not really with us, but I think sometimes knowing, because you were talking about, knowing buttons to push and stuff like that, but knowing when, hey, maybe I gotta freaking be a little less this guy and a little more, another,
Yeah.
because I think we navigate it well, but and I think everybody kind of gets everybody else's personalities and, strengths and stuff like that, but I think that for sure in those real life scenarios, knowing when you have to dial this guy back and, just so you can accomplish things, so you can accomplish the goals, because you can't be 1,000% that all the time. Knowing and being comfortable with who you are and everything, like I was just talking about, is that not everybody knows you. Not everybody's going to be comfortable with that guy, even though
Right.
you're comfortable with that guy. So yeah, there's definitely gonna be times where you're gonna have to dial it back a little bit, even though you know who you are, and the people that love you know who you are. but it might not be the same for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just like TikTok Viko is not the hanging out in the fucking, base drinking beer Viko. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
not the
it's just like that whole fucking the internet social media persona that we were talking about earlier. Not necessarily of you, but of these people that look like they have these glorious lives and they're always on vacation and whatever. It's just the same as you're not the same guy on TikTok as you are, when we're hanging out drinking beer.
There's a balance, right?
It definitely comes with emotion, having that emotional intelligence and the wherewithal to know, when to dial it back and when to kind of push forward, like you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because
there,
yeah, it can definitely get to a point where it's like, dude, shut up, like, or this shit, whatever, fuck you, like, you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like it can start getting to people, it can start nagging on people. So yeah, I think you're right. Definitely having the emotional intelligence to be able to know when to flip the switch and when to not, and when to crank it to 5 instead of 10. That's definitely an important aspect of knowing who you are, knowing where you've been, where you're going and how you're going to get there.
Yeah, and half the time, when you're in that path, and for anybody who doesn't know who they are or understand like your acceptance of your fucking of all your failures and your wins. Look, on that path, it's a bear, man.
Well,
It's
and
fucking hard to get to the point where you can just be like, oh yeah, so I took advantage of this person, and as an adult, as not even an adult, years later, as a more mature version of myself, if I ever see that person again, I will just fall at their feet and tell them I'm sorry, and just say, hey, listen, if there's anything I can do, for me personally, there's one kid that if I ever see him again, I just, I'll do whatever
yeah.
I can for that kid.
Well, and that's the thing is, and that's where like the emotional intelligence comes in to say, hey, I recognize this. I recognize that I did this and this happened. And if I ever get a chance, I'm going to make up for it. That's the difference in, you know, recognizing what you did and recognizing uh, a bad period and realizing that it was bad and how to move
Yeah.
on from it and how to try and make things better if you get the chance. Or, if there becomes a time where you can make it happen, I'm sure you'll make it happen. It's still having to recognize those pieces, good, bad, or indifferent,
Mhm.
and moving on from them, knowing, hey, I'm not this guy anymore. I'm not the guy that I used to be. I've changed. I've done this, this, and this,
Yeah.
and I'm not going back there.
Yeah, you don't need to walk down the same fucking path 10 times to know the path. You probably do it
Yeah,
2, 3 times and you're good.
yeah.
It's
Like, I get it. I get it. I got
I
it.
got it.
I
Good.
don't want to do that anymore.
And I think that people that even in the past that you've known that were mutual friends and have fallen off of both of our radars, if they met both of us today, they would be like, "Wow." I
Well,
think.
and we actually had a conversation uh, at Autorama, and that was just kind of like, I wouldn't say healing, but knowing that, like, I don't care, like I don't have any emotional damage or or any heart
Emotional damage.
right, or like any hard feelings about it at all. Um, you know, get past it. I don't know what
Was
kind
it
of
one of your former friends or one of my former friends that you had that
no
conversation with?
one of mine,
Yeah.
and it's just like, dude, I don't care. Like, you guys blocked me. Like, I didn't block you guys. Like, I don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you guys have the animosity, then you have the animosity. That's a bummer, but that's not me. I was over it, a week later. And, so And it's like it's so far in the past that who even cares?
Yeah.
You know, what's the point of sticking to those guns that it's like you're not getting anywhere with any relationship or making it less awkward for anybody else.
Yeah, you're just making
And
it fucking hard, man, for no reason. There's nothing to talk about, so don't talk about it.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
it's like it's over. You know, we're not we're not best buds anymore, but we're still I still care if you live or die. I don't want anything bad to happen to anybody. Um, but yeah, it's just kind of, I guess it's knowing that, or being smart enough to recognize that it's really not doing anybody any good.
I think
And
I think that's a huge tell on whether or not, pardon me, you actually know who you are and you're holding to yourself. Like you're really following through with yourself. Because like when you get to the point where we're at, it's like, sure, like I will work on if I ever see that person again that I took advantage of, I will do everything I can to apologize. And if they don't accept it, that's okay. Fine.
yeah,
But for
there's
the
no
people,
guarantee.
yeah, but for the people who, hurt me, all the people who've hurt me, I don't care, man. I hope y'all are good. Like I'm past it. I don't put stock in people who don't put stock in me.
Hmm.
Totally okay.
Yeah, and that's just the thing too. Is like I think people forget that it's okay to just kind of like let a relationship go, especially something like that
Mm-hmm.
may have been what you thought you needed or what you thought was true, whether it be one of your boys, a girlfriend or ex-girlfriend or something like that. Like it's okay to just be like, okay, well, this isn't working out. This isn't working out for me, and kind of let that go. It's the direction that it needs to go in, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
there's those relationships that are worth fighting for that maybe you fucked up, but you fucked up, so you can go fight for them, or at least work on them, work towards something. But yeah, I think it's definitely, we've talked about it before, knowing when to say, I'm done, when to say, I gotta go. That's important too.
Yeah, I think so as well. And I think it's really important to actually turn that same conversation inward, right? Think about it knowing when to say, I this isn't who I am, or this is what I don't want to be, so I'm going to let it go. I have a lot of friends who are addicted to porn, actually. We talked about it a little bit earlier. And the ones who openly admit to themselves that they're addicted, they can overcome it.
Is that like admitting that you're an alcoholic?
Probably. I don't
Isn't
know.
the first step to recovery is admitting that you have a problem?
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's the first step to finding your true identity is like admitting that you're fucked up and it's all right.
Admitting that you're fucked up and so is everybody else. You're just,
Yeah.
fucked up in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe admitting that maybe that's a key to life. Maybe that's another wisdom drop right here.
Finding your counterpart in fucked up. Somebody
Yeah,
that balances out your fucked up.
yeah. I mean, that could be it. I don't know because you look at it in this really kind of like spitbully fashion that me and you do in this open form of talking back and forth and like really bouncing ideas off of each other. But most mature people that I know have literally figured out that they're fucked up. They admit that they're fucked up. They know their flaws. They know some of their strengths. They probably don't. They probably know more flaws about themselves than they do their actual strengths. They probably don't admit that.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah.
That's generally how it works out.
And
It's like your mental dysmorphia instead of your body dysmorphia.
yeah, I'm super fucked up in all these ways. Yeah, but you smile and you still say thank you and please, and you open doors for people. You stop and help old people across the street. That's just
Right.
not good enough. He's like, that's pretty fucking good. I haven't stopped and helped an old person across the street for a while.
Off to a good start. Yeah.
Yeah. maybe that's what it is. Maybe it starts off with admitting to yourself all of the things that you are. Maybe admission, maybe that's the steps to recovery is a fucking thing.
Maybe it's just the number one step to recovery for everything.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I want to know the steps to being or to recovery for going into super debt to open a business. Is that admitting that you went into debt?
Yeah, I think that's admitting that you have a problem, and that problem is that you need to pay your fucking bills. The problem is I ain't got no fucking money.
Yeah.
You're like Happy Gilmore's grandma right now. Why didn't you pay your mortgage? I didn't have any money.
Yeah. Why didn't you pay your taxes? I don't have any money. What money?
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna have to become pro golfers just so we can, win enough money back to pay for the meadery.
Or show our buttholes, I guess. Apparently that's a thing.
Yeah, right. I don't think anybody's gonna pay to see your butthole. Or I think the only person that's seen mine is the doctor at MEPS when we had to duck walk.
Yeah. I feel bad for him.
What happens if both of his hands end up on your shoulders?
Then I just smile and wave, Mikey. Smile and wave. No, I think it's a real thing. On the jokes, all the jokes aside, I think admitting to yourself, and probably admitting to yourself more about your successes than your failures, is probably a really important thing to identify who you are. And then when you identify that, be that.
Well, it's important not to get down on yourself either, because like we stated, we're our own worst enemy, our own biggest critic. So it's important that, if that's the message that we put out, to admit that you have an issue, then don't go down the rabbit hole of making yourself the biggest problem ever. Admit that you have a problem and then move to fix it. Don't just admittedly get down on yourself, because then if you get too far, down the rabbit hole and mad at yourself and not holding yourself of value, that's when bad things start to happen too. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, admitting you have a problem and then trying to fix it without getting down on yourself so much that, it leads to depression or darker places. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
that fine line.
Well, I was going to say the mind fuck of it. Like, it's really a mind fuck, because a lot of people will be like, I want to fix this thing. And then they'll work so hard on trying to fix the thing, and that they're focused on it, that thing becomes an addiction, a counter addiction.
If people hyper focus on things, yeah.
I'm one of them. I don't know if you know that. I wasn't
gonna point any fingers.
I'm focused when is it gonna do it? Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah, that's right.
No, I'll admit that up front. Like, I'll hyper focus on dumb shit for no reason. It's super annoying, except for when I'm stoned. I don't focus on anything. I just laugh. It's great. I love it.
The decompression.
Dude, my I was gifted with some CBD THC combo sleep gummies.
Oh, that sounds fun.
I have fucking awesome dreams, bro. I sleep through the night. When I was doing the HGH, I had lucid dreams. You guys talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was having lucid dreams like crazy, like living an entire different life at night in my dreams.
Fuck that, dude. That is
and
because you could wake up being really fucking depressed after some shit like that.
No, man, I was an adventure. It was fucking cool. I even
That's
had
what I mean.
Indiana Jones hats.
You're like, why didn't I live that life?
The craziest thing was that every night I would fall asleep and I would start my dream from where I left off for like 3 months in a row.
That's pretty sweet. You should write an adventure novel based off of those dreams.
I forgot it now, but yeah. Totally.
See, you fucked up.
No, I should have just kept doing the HGH, bro.
You just write it down. You could have wrote an HGH book.
Should have just told AI
my
what I was doing.
HGH adventure.
I think it's really crazy because I do hyper focus on stuff, and it's the weirdest shit ever. I don't know why I hyper focus, but I definitely do. I don't hyper focus on me. I hyper focus on weird shit, like starting gravity versus final gravity versus bricks measurements and how I can make mead taste like a drink I would drink, or falcons or bees or whatever other weird fucking hobby I have.
Hobbies that you have?
I don't think making hooch makes me a rich white man, because it's definitely opposite currently.
Well, I mean, you have like birds and stuff though.
Yeah, falcons.
Yeah, so
You can catch a falcon for free. Just need to know how to do it. I just didn't, because I am a middle class white man.
Huh. All right.
But whatever. There's definitely a rich white man, allegedly in this crew.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
There's more people that own fancy cars in this crew than I've ever met in my entire life.
Nah.
In one small crew? Yeah.
No, definitely not. It's Nate. He has semis.
He has an Optimus Prime trailer truck. It looks just like Optimus Prime, except for needs some paint. But yeah.
See?
He loves
one truck.
He loves it. So I think we can probably wrap up the men's mental health. But do you have any closing thoughts on it?
No, I'd say, well, I guess yes. I would say definitely admit if there's a problem there, and then work on making it better, work on fixing it, and don't get too far down the rabbit hole of thinking that you're a bad person, or holding yourself overly accountable to the point where it's a detriment. It's okay to work on things that you see is bad, but don't hyper focus to the point where it makes you feel bad about yourself.
I think it's really my closing thoughts are I kind of echo those a little bit. I'd go a little bit further on it. I think it's really important to admit to yourself everything, and have like a meditation set up to actually have those internal conversations. You need to set yourself some time aside, and meditation could be walking in the woods with your bow for no reason, allegedly looking for deer / elk / bears / turkeys / anything that moves but still not see anything. You could have a lot of singular conversations during that time.
A lot of self-reflection.
Yeah, there's a reason why Buddha was in the fucking woods for so long, and Jesus went up for 40 days and 40 nights, and Moses was in Sinai. They got really enlightened by being alone. And they probably admitted some hard truths to themselves, like, all right, cool. Well, I'm gonna do this for these shitbags, but I'm gonna call it love.
Oh, that's funny.
So I think it's really important for everybody who listens to us to really sit down, and to grow, you have to admit both your failures and your wins, and hold on to the wins and grow from your failures. That's all you can do.
Shaboom.
Oh, bam. Oh, you almost fall over?
Pieces. No, I just dropped a big ass metal piece. I don't know where the fuck it goes to.
I can't believe you lost your Zen, dude.
I don't know where the fuck it is.
You gotta try this. You can try it.
Nah, because I don't want to be spitting it out all the time.
No, they have pouches.
The Zen pussy pouches are good.
Well, they have pouches that are Nikki friendly, like no Nikki.
No Nikki.
Yeah, they're 100. Oh, I don't know, because it's called Ritual. It's 100% Ritual. Good flavor. Got some shit in your cha. Some cha in your lip, whatever. Yeah, you got some shit going on.
Do it for the fucking laser focus, bro. Laser focus.
Yeah. I like it because it keeps my mouth like salivating. I don't like a dry mouth.
Nobody does, buddy.
No.
Nobody does.
Nobody does. Especially when I do get cotton mouth like a motherfucker when I'm on those CBDs and the CBD THC. And I'm just like, well, I'll go put some cha in right now.
Fucking drinking too much water. You're just floating.
Mm-hmm. Dude, we should jump into some paranormal shit. It's been a minute.
It has
Been a minute since we talked about paranormal shit. You guys
It's been
kind of talked about Mount Shasta a little bit. I mean, what was your
like
recap?
9 hours of paranormal without you.
I didn't make it to all the paranormal shit because I was trying to listen and then, whatever.
So now you know what people go through.
Nah, that's fine. If they made it this far, whew,
Yeah.
y'all are fucking soldiers, bro. Like,
yeah, it's definitely getting up there. The the 3. He's definitely put some cool graphics and stuff in there, so it's fun.
yeah.
And Uncle Nick, as always, is in the comments. He's the man.
Dude, I haven't even seen any of that. I need to go look at the metrics, man. I haven't looked at any of them. I've been too busy, so I was just assuming that you guys were killing it without me, which is totally good.
I mean, done pretty good. I think there's a hashtag. He put a hashtag Viagra in there. That's hilarious.
I'm in on this.
No, that was fun. That was especially the last one. It was fun. Coming in hot, the BBC.
Yeah, that was a good one, man. You guys talked a little bit about Shasta.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about Mount Shasta and what could be under there, what's up there, just kind of the legends of it, and
a legendy.
Yes, a legendary.
No, a legendy, like allegedly, but with a legend in the middle.
Yes. So yeah, no, there's some cool stuff in there for sure. Then we talked about a lot of good men's mental health topics. So we had a fun little hat trick for sure.
That's awesome, man.
And it was good that, we were able to step up and do it while you guys were out there brewing your faces off and peeling pears and cutting jalapenos and doing the things that you do. So I'm sure that it was a nice little load off of your back for a few days or for a couple weeks.
It was nice, man. It was I missed you guys. I missed doing it for sure, but I want to talk about some fucking ghosts, bro.
Some spooks.
Yeah, not the ones over at the boat's house and his fucking weird shit popping up everywhere.
Right, trying to hang something on the fridge.
Yeah, something. It's an interesting setup. They're keeping the ghosts around. So, yeah, I can't wait. Anyway,
let's do it.
Let's do it, man. So today, in the paranormal section, we're gonna talk about ghosts of war. Well, yeah, you have. You went to Normandy, right?
Yeah.
And Bellawood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Eternal. Allegedly.
Yeah, I am an Eternal. I have a photo of it somewhere to prove that I am an Eternal.
There we go. Shit's getting deep.
Just letting you know.
All right. So, ghosts of war. We were talking before the cast, and this was your thing, so I'm going to hand it off to you. How you were thinking it was going to go.
Well, there's a duality to Ghosts of War.
Yeah.
There is a legitimate specter / ghost, or ghosts, plural, that are left over and the energy's still there. And, people see them from time to time. Or the duality would be the mental scars as the Ghosts of War too. The mental scars of the people that were in those wars that all their buddies get hurt or got hurt themselves and survived. That survivor's guilt and stuff like that is definitely referred to as a Ghost of War also.
Are we blurring the lines of men's mental health with paranormal here?
There may be a line that we're walking.
Are we in the witching hour? Is that what's happening right now?
We're not there yet. We're still a few hours off. But I think that there is some importance to walk the line for a moment.
I think so.
But to just wanted to make sure that, the viewers or the listeners had that, the two sides to that coin, right? And sometimes one affects the other, most definitely, especially when it goes back to, people wars or people that, that happened to recently. Like I've read stories where people have to go back to Iraq or back to Afghanistan, and go to the place where, shit went down because it fucked them up.
Fuck no.
I know that. Well, but in some of these stories, I'll have to send you one in particular, about OP Rock. And if you don't know about OP Rock, there is ghosts of several wars there, and the mental scars that go with it. OP Rock, the mountains of Afghanistan. It's in a really shitty spot.
Weird.
The Russians fought there.
Weird.
The Afghanis fought there.
Weird.
Like it has been a stronghold for a very, very long time. It's been on many accounts by Marines that it's haunted. They hear footsteps. They hear things on the watch posts. They hear things on the roof. They hear things coming upstairs. See things on nods that you can't see with the naked eye. And then those things start to affect people that were in the platoon. Long story short, there were guys that were digging a ditch out so they could get a little bit lower behind the HESCO barriers, and they found bones. And after they left OP Rock, all the guys that found the bones died in different operations, at different points, because the platoon was kind of, everybody kind of got reassigned and stuff like that after, and all those guys died. One or two in particular went back to OP Rock and stayed until they figured out what the hell was going, until they kind of made peace with the ghosts that were basically there. Really kind of,
that's a
spine-tingling story.
Yeah, fucking got me goosebumping over here. I don't ever goosebump anymore.
Especially when it comes to, these guys seen stuff on their nods there. And if you've been in Pendleton or you've been in whatchamacallit, out in the desert,
the stumps, 29 palms.
Yeah, stumps. Yeah, the stumps. Or you've been to the stumps long enough. I would dare say that more Marines have seen something in the nods that when you pull the nods up, it's not there. But probably more have seen it than haven't.
I mean, I saw the little girl that lives with me the first time in the stumps. So
yeah. So that whole thing, I think it's very real. Like you can see things through nods, right? And when those two things kind of come together, it's pretty terrifying. And the fact that somebody had the stones to go back and figure out what was there and why it was there and why it was coming after him, and to make peace with those ghosts of war, that says something about that individual. And that individual came home and basically turned their whole life around.
I think that's really important to like look at in that aspect. I look at all these like these World War II vets, now flying back over to like Normandy and France, or other parts of France, or they're going to like
Iwo Jima,
UO and all that shit. I'm like, the set of stones and heartache that you have to have back to the place where you lost your friends, like that to me is brutal. Like, there's not one part of me that will go back to Al-Nazariyah. It will fucking never happen. They could like declare the most safe place in the world. They could be like, the amount of pain and anguish from that area in my life, I have moved past. I don't know if I could ever go back, dude.
Well, some people have to face it, right? They can't get past it without facing it. You know, the fact that you say you're over it and you got past it, that's big, right? But in order for some people to kind of get over it, they have to go back. And
I'm impressed with anybody who will do that. I am 100% impressed. Like bored. I'm not a brave man. I'm just a dude who does dude things. You know, that's our phrase. You know, we're dudes doing dude things, right? You look at these when you say things like that and you tell a story about that. To me, the amount of strength it takes to battle that inner demon, to show up to the place where the demon was basically born.
Yeah, that's fucking grabbing the demon by the horns and fighting it.
Mm-hmm.
Being ready to wrestle it to the ground. This guy went with just absolute intentions of figuring this out, even if it meant his own death.
So, I don't know what province. Do you know what province it was in?
I can look it up real quick.
Cool. Because to me, like, Afghanistan can fuck off for the rest of forever. People have, like, it depends on the veteran you talk to and the war they fought or the battles they fought. But in Iraq, there was a sense of national pride. In Afghanistan, they didn't give a fuck, dude. They'd bury fucking landmines at the edge of their property to keep their neighbors out from stealing their fucking turkeys and shit.
Yeah, most definitely. With sorry.
Totally
so good. With the Ghosts of War too, there's a lot of things that are still there, right? And now has been recently recognized as one of the most haunted places on Earth.
Weird. Imagine that.
I can vouch for this. You know?
I know. You told the story, man.
I know. So, and I mean, when it comes to Japan, Okinawa specifically, almost 400,000 people died there. Total, right? Both sides, civilians, suicides, everything. And there's definitely Ghosts of War that are still there. And I don't know how often, you know, the vets, you know, they're very few left now.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how many actually went back to Okinawa that were at the battle. And, you know, were either stationed there, went back to kind of face those demons.
Mm-hmm.
But there's very spooky places and things that happen there.
Did you ever go on the battle sites tour?
Yeah. I went on the battle sites tour.
Did you go? So you're down in the tunnels. Did you? And they're like, this is where there were three Japanese officers that committed heresy. No, is it Harry?
No, it's called
seppuku, whatever.
Yeah.
But what they did with a grenade and like the grenade fragments and blood were still in the walls, and I was like, you know, we were going on, and I thought to myself, who's here? Like, what time does this close? Because it's got to be closed at like 4, right?
Yeah, you want to get the fuck out of there.
And nobody goes in the tunnels at night.
No.
Can you imagine going in the tunnels at night? Like, there's got to be a Ghost Hunter episode somewhere in which somebody goes to the Okinawa tunnels at night just to see if they hear anything.
Yeah, I would not do that. I would not.
No,
I would not want to be that guy.
I would not want to be that guy for twofold. I'm American, and they wanted to kill all Americans. And two, that is scary as fuck. There's a lot of death in those tunnels.
That's the crazy part about this dude. He went back. You know, he was a Marine. He went back. It's right outside of Kabul. So it's not right outside. It's a ways out of Kabul, but basically south. It's towards, so kind of southwest of Kabul.
Southwest or southeast? Southeast. It's RC East.
Well, so it's southwest. It's in between Kabul and Kandahar.
I think that was classified as, which is the area that I was operating in. Cool.
So there's a fun fact for you, pal.
Thanks, buddy. I
yeah.
hope that you stub your toe tonight.
Anything that I can do to make you feel better. Oh, here I can zoom in here.
How far away from it was? Give me map quest directions to.
It won't pull up on MapQuest. It won't pull up on maps at all. It's just
How far away is it from Gardez?
Let's
G-A-R.
see. Rocky
G-A-R.
Park.
Easy.
Sakaram. Jalalabad. Jalalabad's a little ways away.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Might have Shakir.
Or Coast. K-H-O-S-T.
It's northwest of Coast.
Okay.
So it's closer to Kabul than it is Coast.
So it's probably RC North. Good. Keep that shit out of there.
Yeah. So it's probably like in between Kabul and like Rocky Bark.
Yeah, I never heard of that place, so that's fine. Probably a place I don't ever want to go anyways. Probably surrounded by a bunch of fucking terrorists.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's no longer occupied, right? War's over, no longer occupied. And the way he described the villagers is the villagers kind of, they know that something's up there and that shit ain't right, and they actually helped him. Odd, right? But he wasn't there to fight a war. He was there to fight, the demons and the survivor guilt, because he wasn't one of the ones that dug up the bones in this particular story. Okinawa, there wasn't a gate guard that didn't have some kind of charm to keep them safe from the ghosts, or salt in their pockets, or something of the sort. Like every time we met a new gate guard while we were, on post, checking IDs and shit like that for people coming back in, or leaving, sorry. There was always some charm or something they wore that was blessed by, Japanese priest, to keep them safe. And a couple of the posts, especially around Courtney, they just fully shut down because none of the Japanese gate guards would guard it anymore. They refused to guard the post. Brand new fucking post. Brand new, beautiful, little box that you stand in. And it was over by the McT gates. And there was one that was over by McT that they completely shut down. They would not guard it. And then there was one that they refused to guard after dark. So it was as soon as the sun was going down.
They have the things that we don't talk about. They just don't have the shaman over there.
Yeah. I don't think it was that. They definitely have it's called cats. Not cats. It's something else. But it's a fox. It's usually in a fox form.
Same. When you say the name, we're good. I don't say the names at night.
Yeah.
Nope. It's like if you're in the Appalachians and you're in the Appalachian and you hear somebody call your name, you didn't hear them call your name.
No. You just, keep walking with your head down. But yeah, no, it's definitely something that's a little spooky.
I could shoot.
And there's a lot of fictional tales about that, and then there's some that aren't so fictional that are pretty fucking crazy, and a lot of them actually have to do with U.S. service members.
That makes sense,
especially in the Vietnam era and Korean War era. Not so much with our era, at least that I've heard or read, but a lot of Vietnam and Korea era people have those stories, and I don't know whether it was just taken care of by the time our generation got there, or whether is just,
or we just haven't gone to any of the Asian cultures right now, and that's maybe an Asian protection thing. Maybe it does that.
like, maybe, well, that's the thing, is like the Japanese people there are so damn just nice and kind of ambivalent that it wouldn't even second if they got it under control, because there was a slew of service members that would just disappear and nobody know where the fuck they went.
There's those goddamn grass ninjas.
Yeah, dude, those guys are covered from head to toe. But no, there's definitely different situations, different things that I saw there, ghosts that I saw there, and just experiences that I had that were just fucking weird, just spooky, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
so, I have something to add to this. Actually, personal experience, but not for Okinawa. Different location.
So it still probably falls under the realm of Ghosts of War, right?
Because I was in Gettysburg.
Oh yeah, I think you've told this story on the show before.
Probably
about seeing them. Yeah.
Yeah, the orbs.
Yeah, and I've seen the pictures on your camera before, I think. Yeah. Or you've sent me the pictures of
it. Wild. So
yeah.
You know, at night, I had the hardest time with orbs. Like I just, you know, I grew up in the 35 millimeter fucking range of life, where you take a fucking camera.
Dust.
I'm like, it's just dust on the camera, right? Now, dude, like my phone takes the best pictures I've ever seen in my entire life. And even back then, that was 2015. This little fucking flip phone thing that I had took amazing pictures for what it was. And there was a shitload of fucking orbs, dude. We were the Devil's Den. One of the most brutal places that there was battles there. And there were probably 1,000 orbs.
Yeah. And like you have like Tegan Point in Okinawa. And that was one of the places that a bunch of Japanese people killed themselves. And it's on Courtney.
So I didn't spend much time on Courtney, but
so I mean, really, unless you had business being there was no draw to coming to Camp Courtney, other than our beautiful sandy beaches and clear blue water, and no ordnance in the water. We were one of the beaches that was on base that you could go out.
Yeah, I was at Schwab, opposite end, same thing.
Yeah,
there's nothing up there, not a fucking thing.
Yeah, so there was I don't know if I told this story or not when I was SOG on. We were doing a 24-hour kind of op
with the VCR.
Well, I told with the VCR. Mm-hmm. But there was another night where we were doing a 24-hour op, and I just kept getting calls, like grown ass Marines, right? Lance corporals and PFCs, that were, we had all done kind of all kinds of additional training together. We had done all the riot training together, which was like a two-week course or something like that. Yeah. And then we had done the machine gunners course together. Like we had gone through a whole bunch of training together, right? Like these were hardcore motherfuckers. Mm-hmm. And I kept getting calls all fucking night, right? And at this point we have people that are on roving patrols, and they have shin guards on, batons and stuff like that at the gate, and then we have roving patrols that are like fully kitted up and everything, got rifles, and some have nods and everything like that. I keep getting calls from like midnight till about 5 a.m. of weird shit happening. Like just them calling me on the radio in a panic, and we finally had to suspend like the patrols because people kept getting pulled into the fucking hedge, like into these gigantic bushes that were right by the point. Marines kept legitimately getting like yanked into these bushes. And you know, it's fairly flat ground, kind of maybe, you know, going uphill a little bit. And there's a little
Yeah.
bit there's a little restaurant up on the top of this area now. Where, you know, Marines can go for breakfast or whatever. And yeah, Marines were legitimately getting yanked into these bushes and just be walking, patrolling, and then their partner's like, hey, you know, radioing in to SOG, and I gotta what the hell happened. And it was, you know, two different Marines posted there, two different, you know, wouldn't have had time to talk about it or collaborate some story, nor would they have wanted to mess with me because I still had the same fuck you look on my face then as I do now.
Fair.
And then I got calls from the beach because they were patrolling the beach too, of something is in the water and something is following us. There's a light in the water. The water keeps following us. We walk to this edge of the beach and it is in step with us. We stop, it stops. Follow it all the way back. It'll follow us all the way back. We had a kind of a little shelf above the beach where NBC would do the gas chamber.
Mm-hmm.
Marines patrolling over there had all kinds of shit happen to them over there. These are all places that are close to the beach, places where Japanese had killed themselves, jumping off onto the cliffs. You know, places where we went aboard and took the island, and
That's crazy.
just some of the weirdest shit that
So,
I've or happen right there on that little camp.
do you think that they were being yanked back because they were like the ghosts were thinking like there's service members, we're just gonna fucking kill them here?
You know, I just had an epiphany for sure. They were close to the top, so they're getting yanked back. Maybe because the Japanese people didn't want them to jump.
Oh, really?
I just kind of got the chills, but maybe it's because the Japanese people didn't want them to jump because it was the Japanese propaganda that made the Okinawans think that if the Americans get you, they're going to rape the women, they're going to kill the kids, you know, all that. So these people were jumping off and thinking that, you know, they were going to, you know, be raped and murdered and pillaged. And then we got there and gave them food and water. So, I mean, maybe it was kind of the ambivalence of those people trying to keep those Marines safe.
Well, it's either one or the other. It's not like really an in between.
Well, the thing, they didn't actually get hurt, right? The Marines that got, you know, ripped into the bushes. And I mean, we're talking like you were in Okinawa. Like these hedges were massive. Like you don't just fall into them. Usually you could just bounce right off because they were so, you know, tight.
Thick,
It's
yeah.
more like a vine than a bush, really.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, these guys were getting fucking full drug in their full kit, you know, trolling next to their buddy, and then just gone.
So I have a interesting conundrum when it comes to that. So you always ask me about the little girl that lives here.
Mm-hmm.
I think the little girl was a victim of some. I think that she has her own war trauma. I think she attached herself to me because all I've ever wanted to be is a full-time dad. And I think when spirits like do something to save somebody, they can sense something that's missing in that person's life. So, adding on to what you said, what if the only thing in common with those two Marines was that they were letting their inner thoughts win?
I mean, there's definitely a possibility. Uh, the two Marines specifically had not been combat deployed.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that bad shit's not happening in their life.
Right, right. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
Oh,
like the stresses of war were not factors, is
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying. You know,
yeah, yeah. Okay.
the biggest stress that they had, you know, uh, on the outside was, that everybody had been up for 24 hours, barring, the 3 or 4 hours of sleep that they might have gotten, while they were off post, but that's just kind of SOP. That's how it goes. Everybody has fucking shitty watch at shitty times. Like I didn't get to sleep. I was SOG for fucking 24 hours. Like, I think I got an hour of sleep.
The worst fucking Sergeant on the guard. Nobody ever fucking knows. But interesting though. I just kind of like dawned on me in this like thought, Matt. Maybe because apparitions and like all those things can sense your energy, and they typically feed off of it, right?
Right, but how long can it go on? Right.
I mean, if you think about it, let's say that those people, that village, and that they're the ones who's saving him. Let's say that both of them are experiencing different pieces of life as they walk through, and both of them are kind of letting the inner thoughts win. And this was those people being ambivalent and snatching him from the edge just in case he was going to do something. What if that's you're never going to know because they're never going to tell you. But if it's two different people at two different times, but it doesn't have to everybody, there's something that's a commonality with them, whether it's their aura, their chakras, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like maybe even, maybe they can read that. And if the way that I look at the thing with the little girl, or like, I was missing something.
Well, that would mean like undoubtedly that it's like it's a intelligent something.
Well, I think they are though. Oh, I just got
intelligent energy, right? It's
super
not
chills.
It's not just it's not something. It's an intelligence, right?
So if you think about it, every single ghost show when they do a ghost box, or even like
the call and response.
Yeah, so that requires intelligence.
Yeah. I think that there's definitely some situations where there's just residual. Mm-hmm. And I think that some of the things that we're seeing times
fucking dude, it's fucking like it got really
it's getting
cold
chilly it's getting chilly over here too.
Yeah, I'm like, holy shit.
But yeah, like the little girl running through the barracks, multiple Marines saw that.
You all can see that, but hair standing up on man.
Yeah, the little girl running through the barracks, a lot of people saw that and reported it kind of off the books. Some people wrote it in the log books. Like, I didn't write it in the log book, but I definitely saw it. But I think that was residual because it was the same type of thing every single time.
Yeah. And then you have different pieces. Like when the little girl's here, like when she does something, she'll hit the lights sometimes. When she was at the house and when I was in Sandy, she would watch different movies. So I think you're right on that. There's probably a different piece. And the same thing happening to two different people. And I'd actually love to hear from anybody else who was in Okinawa on Courtney, if they ever heard about it again, or if it was just like while you were there.
And you know what, Nick? I don't remember whether Nick left or not. Whether Halverson was there or not during that time, he may have already left. I don't know. There's a chance that he was there during that time too. But he may have some fucking wicked stories too that I don't even know about.
I heard him coming out to the meetup, by the way.
Dude, I did too. He might have some good stories to tell.
Allegedly.
I'm
in an allegedly kicked, dude.
I can hear it.
Yeah. Dude, I think that we sit here and we talk about stuff all the time. I think that it's really important to realize that these apparitions are not always just apparitions. They are intelligent. And anytime that something speaks back to you in a spirit box, that means there's an intelligence on the other side. And you're opening a tunnel of communication, and there's things that transmit, whether they're spiritual or fifth dimension or whatever. Right.
Well, it's important to realize too, like, hey, these things aren't always good. They're not nice. Yeah. So, best not open up that line of communication because it's like that whole fuck around and find out thing. Sometimes you're fucking around and you find out, and sometimes that's really not a path you want to go down.
No, because you can't fight something you don't know how to, like, you can't see or touch. So
Yeah.
let's talk about some areas that are known to be haunted.
Okay.
So, Ghosts of War. I live not far from where Custer and his last stand happened. Literally 2 hours away. I bet you. Not that I ever would, because I don't fuck American fucking shit. But I bet you if you went there, there would be like those scars that you talk about on the land. I think the land holds a residual from the scars too. I think the land has memories.
Oh yeah, especially if there's water and quartz. It seems like those are big, huge propellants of
and granite.
Of that. And granite, yeah.
We don't go places where there's water, quartz, and granite.
Yeah, and if all three are there, just leave.
It's better if you just nope. That's a whole lot of nope.
Yeah.
So I think you look at this, right? This whole view, this holistic view, and I bet you if you were doing can you imagine doing a patrol at night on Wounded Knee?
No, that would be fucking terrible.
I don't know if you could make it the night.
No, and the thing is
there's lots of bad shit over there.
Yeah, especially if there's some intelligence attached to it. It's not just, energy that's stuck. Seeing a new threat.
How would you even handle it? Like the onset to me. I've seen a lot of weird shit in my life. Obviously, we've talked about like the Sasquatch experience and the ghosts and things, and that I just kind of take them for what they are, because I can't really. I got nothing. What am I gonna do? Shoot a ghost?
Yeah, there's really not like a whole bunch you can do about it. Pray to your God and get rid of it. That's
hopefully you're faster than it. Like
the
you
extent
get the fuck
of
out of there. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that just kind of like if you were to do that, right? For instance, you'd be looked at as an entirely different new threat, right? If there was some intelligence there. And just like OP Rock, the dude heard freaking all kinds of different dialects that are spoken in Afghanistan, and Farsi and all kinds of shit. And then Russian also, because Russians died there too. And then the Americans get there and it's just a new threat. So whatever intelligence was still there,
dude,
came after him. And if you try to do that on Native American land, get the fuck out of here. You'd be in trouble.
Think about this, right? You're sitting there one night and you've meandered over as you're crossing the plains after Wounded Knee to go stake your land, and you're on before the res is the res, right? And you have your horse and your buddy or your buddies, or maybe you're in a wagon train. And you've circled the wagons. Do you think I would people did that?
I know, but I would dare say that they're better than to do that. There.
I don't know, man.
Because everybody knows about The Last Stand. Right? But, especially then, there was like the mini novels that were written about it, like the pamphlet style books.
Do you think that okay, so looking at humanity in general and the amount of common sense there is, I don't think that that's changed. I think there's never been common sense. I don't think it's actually a common gift. I don't think that is,
I think it was lost. I think it's being lost every day because common sense comes from street smarts. And when out on the streets doing street things,
but look
and we're
at
on the computer.
But look at the Oregon Trail. An example of this is the Oregon Trail. How many motherfuckers decided that they wanted to put a fucking piano in the back of their fucking
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, no,
Yeah, dumb shit like that. Yeah. There was
So-
always one pole lock in the bunch for sure.
for sure, or whatever. So you're gonna have that, right? And also, they didn't have like latitude and longitude lines like ever. So nobody's gonna read that. They're gonna. I mean, they did have it, but those were for map makers. So they're cruising through.
It was finding the trail. It was
Yeah.
finding the trail and somebody that had gone through there to guide you and find that marked trail for sure. But I mean, those idiots with the piano too. News didn't travel as fast, so they didn't hear about the other 32 idiots that tried to take the baby grand with them. Like I said, there's always one.
A lot of them. I mean, you're talking about people coming from like these known cities who are trying to escape that are poverty stricken, and they're coming across. So let me paint the picture real quick. You're cruising along, and you're in a wagon train, and you haven't brought all your dumb shit. You just brought the stuff that you need to start your life new. Wagon train master says, "Hey, we're stopping here tonight." 2 years, 3 years after Wounded Knee. There's a U.S. cavalry presence in the area, so the chances of you being attacked are less, but not gone. You go to sleep, and in the middle of the night, you hear the chants of the Sioux Indians just fucking hanging out. You wake up, you look around, and you see Native Americans and all of Custer's was it the 5th? I think it was. Fucking battling through. You see an entire fucking war play out before you because there's no lights, but you see apparitions playing this war out. What do you do?
150 to 300 Lakota Indians.
It was Lakota, that's right. Not Sioux.
Yeah. That's insane.
It's over in South Dakota.
Yeah. But there's no fort. There's no nothing.
Yeah, so there's nothing. Like there's no marker for it.
Yeah.
There's the only marker we have is from the cavalry, and they kept it inside of the U.S. Known, maps.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, I don't even think it's accurate because nobody made it out.
Yeah, it says that it says that there was some Sioux in there too.
Well, they were doing wasn't that the Tale of Tears? Tears? It was on it might have been the Tale of Tears.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't the Trail of Tears.
South. No.
Okay.
Those were Native Americans that were in the east. They were taken towards like Oklahoma.
Okay.
Yeah, most prominent among these were Sioux Indians, of which the Lakota are a subgroup. So it was Sioux, Lakota.
That though, like you're just cruising along. We're gonna cruise up to Montana. There's like new land up there. We're gonna cross through South Dakota.
Still ghosts of war, right?
Yeah, and you're literally sitting there at night, you and your boy, maybe even your entire wagon train, and just next thing you know, you hear fucking war drums.
What about all the forgotten history places?
Oh fuck, dude.
What if you're in Europe and you're camping out in the woods and you had no idea that there was 10 legions of freaking Romans that fought back barbarians, point,
If you hear Maximus Decimus Meridius give a fucking gladiator talk and there's no TV around, probably just hold on because you're in for a ride, dude.
Yeah, you start speaking Latin and make sure that you're shooting in the same direction.
Interesting. I just realized this. Wasn't it the 5th? Didn't Custer lead the 5th? The first of the 5th? Something like that?
There you go. I don't know. Let me see.
Might have been the 7th. Because I was gonna say the Maximus Decimus Meridius, who's a character, but kind of was he was the leader of the 5th too. Like, just don't lead things that are the 5th.
7th Cavalry.
Oh, 7th. It was 7th Cavalry.
Yeah.
7th. Okay. Well, then disregard my last.
Yeah.
But think about it. Is there really? I mean, outside of the vastness of America, do you think there's anywhere here really that hasn't had bloodshed on it in the world?
I mean, very few places.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I doubt
mean,
it.
I would say that the island nations have.
No, they were just fucking killing each other.
Yeah, but I think there's been blood spilled all those motherfuckers, right?
Oh, for sure.
For centuries. I think when it comes to bigger lands like North America and South America, there's probably some areas that man still has not touched.
Yeah, where the Squatch in the land where the Sasquatch roam.
Right. But yeah, so there's probably there's probably a couple places, but once you get back to those places, there's other stuff there. It's, I really just don't think that, and this could be like the most wuss bag statement ever, but I really just don't think that we were meant to be outdoors in certain places after a certain time.
I don't know if it's a wuss bag statement or if it's a statement of knowing yourself.
Well, I mean, there's like
knowing your truth.
There's some
as a humanity.
There's some treaties that the made supposedly with the hairy man or the Sasquatch, right? Where you don't go into his place, you don't do this after dark, no drugs after 12, shit like that.
You don't feed the Magua after midnight, and no water.
Yeah, so it's kind of like maybe there's some ancient knowledge there that hasn't been passed on, and they're still living by those old rules, and we have no fucking idea what they are. You know,
dude,
what I mean? Like, is that a thing? Or is that just,
What if I said for the bachelor party, I want us to go to Lovelock Cave at night and take a spirit box and see what we hear?
Probably be day.
Can you imagine that? You're hearing fucking Native Americans just fucking murder and kill the giants. Oh, dude, in my mind, that's a great story. Like somebody write that down. It's gonna be a screenplay on Netflix next month. Watch.
Yeah, no shit.
Fucking
yeah, that's where like I get full fucking a full fucking kit, and I'm gonna fucking buy some black market grenades. Like, yeah, I'm not going into that shit. Like, and that's the thing is like even a dude ranching it up for the day is cool, but I just we were meant to be in some of those places after certain times. That's just kind of the way it all seems to roll out to me. And when those types of things happen, some people do it all their lives and nothing ever happens. And then some people do it once and something fucked up happens.
Dude, funny because like we had the experience up at Current Creek, me and you.
Yeah.
And I'd been there my entire life. And I was like, why the fuck is this happening to me? And I'm there with Ryan, with Doc, and I'm like, why the fuck is this happening? Like, I know every fucking part of this land. I know it by heart. Like, I know everywhere I'm at. I know how to get to where I'm going without a problem. Why all of a sudden is something fucking throwing giant boulders at me?
Yeah. Well, and it's like we were kind of over there in that area too. Remember we hunted over there, I think it was in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
Like the night before. And it was just kind of weird then too. Yeah. It's just
super fucking quiet for no reason.
We should have known then, right? But we're not smart, so but it just comes back to that. I don't think we're meant to be some places after dark. And
I can get on board with that. That cabin for sure was fucking haunted.
There was something fucked up with that cabin. It wasn't just like an old dilapidated cabin. Like it
was fucking midnight black in the window that wasn't there.
Yeah, it was like
a dilapidated
and light was shining through the fucking broken wood, and it was still just pitch black.
Yeah, weird place, super weird place. It's interesting that you bring that up because you talk about the Appalachians, like Appalachia.
Yeah.
There's so many things that there are said, and that are there, and then there's so many Native Americans that will tell you stories of things that you don't do, and then they start, not really talking about it because, like, in their culture, they don't talk about it. You talk about it, then it fucking comes knocking on your door.
Yeah, then it's coming after you.
Right. There's a reason why I don't have a welcome mat, and the meadery doesn't have a welcome mat. Sorry, bro. We're full.
Not happening.
Fuck off.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing is like, not only, especially being in the, right, you're in a whole bunch of fucking places you're not supposed to be. And when you're like in a tent, when you're in a tent, but you have like, I don't know, 30 other dudes around with fucking, 30 round mags and fucking hand grenades and flashbangs, it's a little easier to sleep at night. But it still sucks when you have to get up to go shit in the woods and dig a hole,
I never actually shit in the woods in the Marine Corps. I only shit in the desert and in front of a mosque.
Well, I just meant like shit, like
I know,
not in a fucking porta shitter. I just meant,
no. I mean, like you bring that up, and I just had a smell. Like, I never shit on any training mission ever.
Really?
Weird.
I think I shit on like one.
I definitely tripod in front of a fucking mosque though. I'm not mad about it either.
No. Anyway, you're always in a place where you weren't supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
Coming back from the Marine Corps, you go camping, and like, okay, well, this is cool, but I really kind of miss those like 28, 30 other guys, and like that one guy that's standing fire watch. And I'm not digging this anymore. This sucks. I remember like I got a truck tent, and the truck tent was cool for a minute, and then like we did a couple like camping trips out into the woods, and I'm like, this isn't that cool anymore. I was like, there's no fire watch, and now I'm just too stressed out to fucking sleep anyway. So, because anybody that walks by or anything that walks by can like hear that we're inside this tiny little canvas tent, and all that's there to stop it is like the truck bed sides, kind of up to a certain point. And I'm like, okay, it gave me time to react to something at Current Creek. And
are you gonna go back?
Fuck no. You ain't. I ain't dragging that fucking 45-foot motherfucker up there ever again.
I mean, just because it's going to cost you like 2 mortgages to get up the fucking road because of gas prices, but yeah.
You know what? And like that's the thing is, even if something hadn't happened up there, super cool camp spot. Never fucking going back again. Like to that lake or that side of the mountain. Not doing it.
That lake's actually really cool.
Fuck no, it's not. I have never had a good experience at that place ever. I've been there 4 times. Never had a good experience there. Saw a wolf the first time I went. That should have been a sign right there. Just turn around, don't fucking come back. The closest I'm ever getting to that bitch again is Strawberry.
Dude, that's fucking funny to me. Did you find yours in?
No, I got a hair in my mouth. I got a beard.
Oh man, I've been having the fucking mustache hairs just like go fucking all on their own thing.
It's the worst.
Yeah, fucking annoying. So I don't know, man. I have a really kind of not fuck around and find out mentality, but kind of like this mentality of, well, if I'm gonna die and I can go out like Hugh Glass almost did, I'm probably going to Valhalla, bro. That's fine. I don't really want to do it that way. I kind of just don't want to go.
Getting dry humped by a Sasquatch sounds terrible.
Mendick.
Definitely dog dick. Anyway, that you made it out once, you know. Fool me once, shame on me, you know. That whole thing.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know,
I'm not,
man.
There's no point to risk it, right? Because you don't have to go camping there. You can literally go camping like anywhere else.
I mean, okay, so I love the outdoors. I love being in places probably I shouldn't be. We all know this about me. Like I disappeared for like September last year.
Well, that's the thing is like I like the outdoors too, but I like the outdoors when I can control what's happening in. There's a cabin. I got a cabin. I got a fucking trailer. That's my fucking barrier. And it's not that I'm scared of
Sounds like you're scared.
what's like out there. I just want to have time to react.
Okay.
Right? If I'm
Okay.
going down, it's going to be in a blaze of glory and somebody's going to get hurt other than me or something is going to get hurt other than me. Or if I'm going down, it's going to be like, fuck, I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
I want to cause
that.
some hate and discontent and a little bit of pain. If it's coming for me, I want to just have enough that, you know, like jiggling of the doorknob before the door gets busted open by fucking dog dick Squatch coming at me.
Mendick. Mendick. By the way, I'm wearing the squat shirt tonight. Fully enjoying it. So I think it's probably time that we get close to wrapping up the cast. I have a lot to add to this conversation. We'd be here for another like Sean Ryan 6 hours, and if I do that, I'm gonna be buried myself. I'll be a fucking ghost.
Yeah, you're gonna be in trouble.
For anybody who made it this far, we will be live on Two Mics Live. Apparently, they've been shouting us out a lot. Much love to them. Man,
yeah,
they're fucking cool cats.
We're
and
the official meet of Two Mics Live.
Yeah, they I think they just hit 72,000 views in like 24 hours.
They hit like 80. It's insane. Those guys are taking off. It couldn't happen to better dudes.
Yeah, for sure. One day we'll actually have time to do that, but like go live, that'd be real cool.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about dumb shit with y'all. I can't wait.
It's coming. We have not abandoned this. It's just gotten put on the back burner.
Because it's, you know, there's 4 liters of hooch that took 4,000 pounds of honey. I don't know if y'all have have you all have ever lifted 4,000 pounds of honey? That's a lot. It's a fucking lot.
Sounds like a lot. Yeah, 76,000 views. That's insane. And 30,000 views like 2 days before that.
Yeah, man, they're just taking off. I love them.
So awesome.
Super cool. They were like, "Hey, you need to ship to New Jersey," and I'm, your state fucking doesn't let us ship to you. I don't know what to fucking tell you.
Your state hates you.
Your state literally beat New York and California out for the shittiest fucking state ever. Pretty fucking bad.
How does it even happen?
I don't even know, man. Like we can ship to Michigan, dude. Like we can't ship to fucking New Jersey, Alabama, of all fucking places.
Wild. Bible Belt.
Weird. Yeah, I mean, I get that. Utah, of course.
We expected that.
Yeah, that's in the bag.
It's supposed to actually change, I think, again in August.
Well,
because they didn't create the infrastructure after they actually passed the law. So they did not do their 7 Ps before they passed the law that you can have wine subscription.
You mean the proper prior planning to prevent piss poor performance?
Something like that, yeah.
Man, fucking good.
So somewhere around August, we should see a little bit of a change here in Utah. Is what I've been told by the alcohol experts.
That's super cool. I actually don't. It's like 42 states right now that we can ship to California yet. We have to get the approval. It takes like 2 weeks or something like that. I'm sorry. That's like super low on my priority list currently. Um, guys, we have a grand opening and we will be going live. I mean, on the Talk Talks, the Jarl is going to start posting actual like reels on his own. It's gonna be super cool. Yeah, they're pre-created reels, but he'll post them.
I have not seen a social media plan for the Jarl yet.
The Jarl's social media plan is the same as everybody else's. But you're gonna that's how you're gonna get followers.
I saw it outlined as Viko, the bearded one.
Well, there's a little bit of the man from Waco there.
Team.
There's a little bit of the man from Waco there. Somebody posted on the Bearded Viking Instagram page and sent me a link that said, "Hey man, you were tagged in this." I was like, "That's a really cool reel. Whoever fucking made that, I love it. I'm in."
What was it?
The one that it's on my fucking Instagram story. I was like, all right, rad. I was like, fucking super cool. Let's go. I'm like, I didn't have to do anything today. I was just re-racking hooch.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's my favorite thing in the whole world. So like it magically appeared. I don't know who did it, but and I'm proud of them for it.
It's pretty cool now that like we're getting to the point where it's like, I don't know who fucking did it, but this is awesome. We didn't have to do it.
I'm super glad that there's like one less thing on my fucking plate.
Right.
I thought that the master's degree was going to go away and I had like, breathing room. No. Now we're going live.
I think the face is going through that too. He's doing his master's right now too. I mean, we're like the most smart kids that you'll ever meet.
Yeah, so he hit me up. He was like, "Hey, can you help me out with some project management stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, what do you want to know?" And then he called me back. I'm like, "So, I sent him a text. I'm like, so if you're trying to learn project management, there's the art of follow up." And he's like, "Yeah, I know." I'm like, "No, actually, proof is in the pudding. You didn't follow up, so therefore you'd be a shitty fucking project manager."
No, it's fucking funny. Like we are like the amount of bachelor's and master's degrees between everybody. Dumbest smart kids you're ever gonna meet.
For sure. And as a reminder for everybody, don't start a business from the ground up. Build the building and work a full-time job while going through your master's program.
It's the Bearded Viking way.
It's not smart. I learned a lot.
Bearded Viking way.
I learned a lot the hardest fucking way you can possibly do. So, yeah, I think we got to do some shout-outs. I shout-outs because I haven't made it through all the podcasts all the way to the end because I actually want to pay attention to them. So, we have some shout-outs to do. I'm going to start off because I have to tell you, I may have met the best group of contractors ever in Montana, probably anywhere. So, shout out to Isaac over at Heart 7 Excavation. He actually is now part of the Bearded Viking family.
They showed up with steamrollers. That shit's fucking insane.
No. So it's not a steamroller.
Or not a steamroller.
It looks like a steamroller. I asked the question.
Is it a compactor? What's the fucking technical term?
Yeah, it's not even. There's no water in it. It's a pressure roller. It vibrates the ground down and it pushes it. And that motherfucker is cool as shit, dude. Except for when you're sitting there and you're trying to mix some shit and do sciencey stuff, and it just vibrates everything, and you're like, "Fuck off, dude! I'm trying to do this thing." Huge shout out to Heart 7. Thanks for joining the Bearded Viking family, and thanks for getting our well and septic system figured out because it's really nice to take a shit in the meadery and not have to go down the street. It's fucking awesome.
It's very it's a little less stressful being there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, I don't have to like.
And you don't have to walk outside to pee or like try and find a bush.
I still do that.
Go to the gas station.
Yeah, the gas station is like there. I got Snickers because I always felt bad when I walk in there just to take a shit. So they'd be like, "Oh, how's things in the meadery?" And I was like, "Oh, shitty." So huge shout out to Heart 7. We will be posting some shit there with him whatnot. The coolest thing actually that he did was he filled up a fucking a giant claw bucket, whatever, and dumped 61 gallons of diesel on our fucking burn pile.
That was the coolest video ever. I was trying to figure it out at first, and I was like, "Oh, that is awesome!"
So much diesel, and he's just like, "This is how we do it in Montana." I was like, "I fucking love Montana, bro." Like, I'm fucking in. More than I was before.
Just to do that.
Yeah. So huge shout out to him. I want to do another shout out. Just to Optimus and One Horse themselves.
Those guys are insane. We've been giving them shout outs for like the last 3 weeks, but they deserve it so hardcore. Like,
yeah, I have a surprise.
The thought and the time that those two put into everything,
dude.
And I hope one day when I grow up, I have as much energy as Charlie.
I just want to have the positive, bro. That dude is a positive vibe, man.
I don't think I'll ever be that positive. That much energy.
Optimus, literally, Nate figured out the setup based off of the strategic vision from Doc for the fucking tasting area outside. I was like, this is what I want. This is how big I want it. And they sat down, they talked through it and everything else. And then Nate was like, I can do that. And he just did it like on the fly. And I walked outside after I did some sciencey shit, got our label, I got our formulas approved. And he's like, I'm like, hey man, what do you need done? He's like, I need somebody to screw some shit. I'm like, I'm really good at that. I can do that.
I can screw.
I could just fucking screwed everything together. Super cool. I wanted to do another shout out to Doc. Dude came up here and lived up here for 3 weeks. We only almost killed each other for fucking like 10 times.
Only
pretty
10
good
times.
for
10 times in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
What's the math on that per week?
Like 3.5.
3.5 times.
Yeah.
It was like 3.5 the first week, or 4 the first week, and then it tapered off.
No, it was like 2 and then 3 and then 5. Not really. No. He's literally embraced the strategy officer position, and he is focused on things, and he found the way for us to do a fucking super dope fucking transfer. He was like wandering around. I mean, first off, to do a transfer from the main hooch to the re-rack.
Oh,
because you have this stuff that settles at the bottom. It's called yeast. It's all dead yeast, right?
The fucking sediment of yeast.
Yeah. The sediment that we're not actually allowed to have in things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you love it, but not everybody does.
Let's make bread.
Yeah. So he found this Milwaukee tool that just is like this big giant stick that's just fucking runs
the pump.
9 gallons a minute.
Oh yeah, those are fucking cool. I've seen those.
Yeah, so he found it, and I mean, he's really killing it. So I just wanted to do a shout out to Doc. We don't get a chance to shout out Bearded Viking team members very often, and it's really important to do.
That's what we've been. Yeah, that's definitely what we've been doing, because you guys have been doing the work while we've been doing podcasts, right? I have the easiest job in the world right now. And I show up on camera once a week. So,
one day
you guys are doing all the hard work for sure.
I'm gonna graduate to that. And a shout out to Hook, motherfucking John Hook, man. Just every day shows up. And today I was like, hey, we're gonna do the transfer, and then we're gonna clean the meadery. And we fucking just sat there and we took turns fucking cleaning everything in the back area. So it's like the cleanest it's ever been. And then of course, like, you walk outside, you forget to switch back into your meadery boots. Fuck, gotta remop. It's I feel like the worst Lance Corporal ever.
Oh, dude.
It's solid work. So and also a shout out to you two, you and Boat. Really important. Y'all had the fort down. Only one controversial fucking conversation that I was like, whoa. As soon as he said it, as soon as you like read the agenda, and I was like, the fuck, dude? I'm like, hey, calm down, Kanye. You can't just come in here guns a-blazing.
When Viko's away, the brothers will play.
That's
No,
what it was.
It was a lot of fun, but honestly, like he does, he does more than I do. He's got to put it all together and fix it. I just get to talk, and
Yeah.
whether that be something wise or whether it be just absolute, just asinine stuff.
That's fair. It's totally. I mean, I get it, man. The thing is like you guys did great work, and I was just doing sciencey shit and making hooch that will bring people together. And Wild Stallions rule, bro.
Yeah, like sometimes you're the coach, and you're the the all-star, and sometimes you're the cheerleader, dude. So right now I got to give it to you guys. I'm the cheerleader. You guys are doing awesome.
Nah, man, appreciate it. Huge shout out to everybody else. Thanks for listening this long. I know that a lot of you actually enjoy the longer podcasts, and I'm glad that the boat finally understands that as an overlord, you can't crack the whip when you've been on it.
Right. I don't think there's any under 3 hours that we did.
I don't think so either, because it was really hard to listen to that the entire time all the way through when I was like in and out. I wanted to listen to the whole podcast, right? But I was just working with everybody, plus working a full-time job, jumping on fucking calls,
right?
Making sure I can pay my own bills and shit. But it was really good. So finally, May 3rd. You ready for the largest meetup there's ever been?
We'll see. We will see.
I don't think you're ready because you don't have your R serving card.
You're right. That's so I can shake babies and kiss hands.
Nope. You got to do it.
Somebody's got to work the back end. Somebody's got to work the front end.
I'm just telling you right now.
And you're too ugly to serve. We got to get some cute girls serving.
There's going to be girls that are serving. They already have their cards. But
see,
you all to do the sames. It's going to be crazy chaos. So for everybody who's listening, if you go to the website, you'll see that it has an announcement banner. It says our grand opening's May 3rd. Go there. Subscribe to our newsletter. Get ready because we're about to fucking launch our subscriptions. What do we call them? Clubs? Whatever. We're going to launch with Tier, Healy, Utogly, and OG. If you guys have any questions about that, reach out to us. Much love. I am Viko, the bearded one.
I'm the Jarl. Stay weird, weirdos.
And finally, cheers, motherfuckers.
You know what you're doing. You've played this game before. Your mind was made up. Once you walk through the door.